Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 19th episode of the Stories About Fear with Rick Gabrielly, the currency of connection. Let me tell you that Rick is more than impressive, as he is an amazing wellness entrepreneur. The first we are having on this podcast talk about health, wellness, and a few words about Rick before we start, because he is going to do the talking today. Rick is a passionate husband, father, coach, author, podcaster, and his limitless enthusiasm, love of technology, and exploration of energy medicine inspires and motivates others by choosing love over fear. I love this. Recreates an environment of high vibration, light-filled possibilities to help others uncover, cultivate, and celebrate their own unique gifts, as well as the gifts in those around them. Rick Gabrielly is the COO and visionary of Scarsdale Dental Spa and Wellness for the past 27 years. Along with his beautiful wife, Carol, they are independent distributors and group leaders for Beamer Group USA and co-authors of The Currency of Connection. Rick is in regional leadership with Master Networks and is a speaker, author, educator, and the co-host of the runaway hit podcast, The Road Ahead Cafe. I know that you may be wondering, how has this wonderful person time to join us today? But he is so giving and very inspiring, wanting us to learn from him. So welcome, Rick. It is such a privilege to have you today with us.
Thank you so much, Roxana. It's a pleasure to be with you, and what a beautiful introduction. Wow, thank you so much. You are just so warm and so kind to have me join you. It's my pleasure, believe me.
I am very grateful today. And let's start our talk, Rick, with you telling us what has inspired you to start your amazing journey with wellness.
Thank you, Roxana. Well, there's one key event that happened in my life when I was 19 years old. Just after my freshman year of college, my father at 53 died of a heart attack suddenly. And he was like my best friend, my GPS. And I really, thought we were going to do so many things together. And it was so devastating and traumatic that I just lost my way for about 5 years after that. And I really went down a very dark road. And I had someone in my life who really thought enough of me to write me a letter. It was my high school biology teacher, Noel Haskell, affectionately known as Booksy, because he was always about books. So we nicknamed him Booksy. And he wrote me a letter, and that letter changed my life. I opened it up after, another dark night. And when I saw what he wrote to me, he basically told me that I was important and that he cared about me. And even though many people before that had told me this, it never made an impact on me. So that letter changed my life. Subsequently, there were a lot of things that happened after that, one of which I met my wife the year after, but that letter saved my life. So based on this very difficult event, losing my father, I was able to make a recovery and find myself, but I dedicated myself at that point to love and then wellness, because I was just so hurt by what happened to my father, because I think that he was unable to use the tools that I had available. So I dedicated myself to not only finding those tools in my own life, but sharing them with other people so that maybe this wouldn't happen to them.
This is beautiful, and as devastating as it was, it's quite remarkable that you got to see the silver lining and you transformed this to your advantage.
Yeah.
Eventually, and helping other people has been a privilege for everyone that got in contact with you through the years. 27 years in this industry of wellness. And can you please share with us, how did you manage to choose love over fear? Because as different as these two concepts are, they are mainly united in a way.
Well, it's a great question, and I still have fear every day. So I'm choosing every day, every moment, sometimes, Roxy. So let's just take at the end of a long day. Many of us, when we're done with our work or our family life, we are going to go to sleep. I know for a fact, because I ask a lot of people this question, do you think about things and feel fear when you put your head on the pillow at night? And so many people say that is a time of such great fear and confusion and maybe worry about tomorrow or something that happened today. So it's very common. So I have to choose. I'm one of those people. As soon as I put my head on the pillow, I start to think about the things that either didn't happen or that I need to have happen or want to happen. So I am just like all of you. If you're feeling this same thing, maybe the only difference is that choosing love part. So how do we choose love over fear every day? Because it is a journey. It's not like I chose love one day 35 years ago and then it just automatically happens for me. It's every day and multiple times per day. I'm faced with sometimes unimaginable fears. Many of them are right here in my head. Sometimes they get into my body, but I try to keep them here and wrestle them down to letting love get in the way of fear and step on it, as you like to say. So one of the things that I will do is I will think about the things that I'm grateful for. So even back to that day when I read that letter, because I'm still just as grateful for the entire journey leading up to my father's passing as I am for that letter and all of the things that happened since then, even the bad things, because as you said, sometimes it's the other side of the same coin. Love and fear can be so close to each other. Sometimes feeling great love can bring on fear because we may feel like we're going to lose it at some point. So human beings by nature have a lot on our mind. When we're in our head too much and we are out of our hearts, we can get in trouble. So, try to control the ego. So I'm choosing every day. I'm choosing during this call. Sometimes someone who's watching or listening may think, well, I can't do an interview. I can't jump on with someone and just talk about myself or my life. I'm really afraid. But there's also a great love in doing this because you're giving other people permission to do the same thing. When you and I got connected, I appreciated you and your heart and your work. And then you invited me to come on here and share. So maybe something that we're going to say or share today is going to be like that letter that I opened. It's going to change someone else's life. And maybe they're going to step on their fears.
This is very beautifully said, and thank you for mentioning this. Hearing you talk now, this hasn't happened before, but it got me very emotional, and I'm trying to process everything so that I am staying present, being grateful in the moment, and I want to be very focused on how you got to be so loving and so giving. Although as we had our previous talk, you did say that you live in a place where people are not the most giving, not yet. People are still processing through their fears, through the hardship that they have endured, maybe due to COVID as well. How did you get to be so giving and see the good in people and see their kind hearts? Can you please share with us about?
Yeah. So thank you for acknowledging that. And I'm so happy that you are feeling this, because it's a beautiful thing to be the host and to be touched by your own work. So you are present for that, and you deserve that. So thank you for letting everyone know that. That's really, really special. So I tried it the other way. I tried to just be on the same path that I was brought up with. We are here in New York, in the Northeast of the United States, where sometimes there's not a lot of trust. You know, sometimes people are running very quickly and they don't get a chance to really listen to their bodies or spirit speak to them. And so they may be running really fast, not trusting, trying to protect or defend themselves. Some of it's trauma, some of it is the environment, some of it is the vibration of an area like this. So whatever the thing is that you may be struggling with, whether it's personal trauma, the environment geographically where you are, the vibration of not only people, places, and things in the environment, but this is what life is. Life is about feeling those different energies. So I tried to do it the other way first. I tried to live a life of accumulation and achievement. I tried to compete. I tried to, be in that dog eat dog, or as my father used to say it, kill or be killed lifestyle. And it just didn't feel right for me. It didn't feel good. Although I was really doing a good job in some of the businesses I was in and excelling and making money, it didn't feel good to me. So not that there's anything wrong with making money, and not that there's anything wrong with being excellent, but if you are doing something that's really not aligned with your soul and your spirit, and you feel it, wow, are you lucky and blessed, because so many people are doing it and they don't feel it until it's too late. And my father may have been one of those people. So there may have been an imbalance because he was born and raised in the Depression here in the United States. He didn't have anything as a kid. So he had to work. And so maybe that work and that lifestyle and that grind may have contributed to his early exit. So between that and my own experience, I said, I want to do this differently. I want to break the chains of my past. I don't want it to be about grinding. I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to be on the treadmill where I'm just working to make money, to buy things and be unhappy. I wanted to feel better about my life. I wanted to experience joy. I wanted something that would spark loving relationships at work and at home. I wanted to be with someone who made me feel valuable and that my love was important. And when I met Carol, my wife, my beautiful wife of 33 years, I'm with her 35 years, everything changed for me. So I think that that was a big part of it, is having someone that could be such a loving, patient mirror for me as I was growing. So for those of you who are lucky enough to have a person in your life, whether that's a friend, a family member, a coworker, whoever it is, even if you don't have someone yet, someone could come to you tomorrow. You could attract someone tomorrow, and that could change everything. So one person can really make a difference in your life.
Beautifully said, Rick. Indeed, because we are social creatures, we need to connect. And now that we are talking about connection, can you please tell us about your wonderful book, The Currency of Connection, co-authored with your wonderful wife, Carol?
Thank you, Roxy. So I had written a couple of books in the marriage space during some of my coaching in relationship coaching. And when the pandemic hit, we had always thought about writing another book. And when the pandemic hit, we were forced to be in our own dining room every day on Zoom, on our dining room table. And there we were in meetings, meeting people, trying to network, trying to connect, trying to pivot, reposition some of our businesses. Our Beamer business was all in wellness fairs in person. All of a sudden, now we're in our house, trying to manage our children and our businesses with no outside connection. So we couldn't meet and feel people anymore. And Carol, although she's a classic introvert, loved being out with people, especially elders at these wellness fairs, and meeting people and looking into their eyes and feeling their presence and their energy when we were with them in person. And we knew what they were feeling, because we could see it and touch it. All of a sudden now, not only us, but many people we talked to were talking about how isolated they felt and how they didn't feel the energy anymore of people, and that they felt like they were undernourished, not only with food, but with that energy from other people, that heart food that we need to get, because our hearts are speaking. There's a whole branch of science called cardio-neuroimmunology, which says our hearts speak way before we are ever close enough to each other to speak verbally. So when we're walking down the street, our hearts are talking to each other from 40 feet, 50 feet, 100 feet away. They're communicating, and they're preparing us for that actual meeting or the avoidance. So if we're not aligned in here, we may miss the other person, or we may avoid them. You know how when you look and you see someone, you make an instant assessment. That's because your heart and all of your chakras are at work identifying the energy of this other being. So you make a yes, no really, really quickly. Sometimes our appearance governs that, but most of the time it's an energetic connection or not. So we were feeling like we were missing that. So we decided to have some conversations about it. And as we were talking, one day, it was so deep and so profound. I said to Carol, why don't we just press record on a small recorder, and let's just record this conversation. This is getting so juicy. I don't want to forget this. Pressed record. We started talking. We listened back to it. It was so magical. We started talking about writing a book on these topics. We transcribed many of those audios, and that's the currency of connection.
Beautiful. And this is an example of how the pandemic is beneficial for us. I myself have some similar stories about starting the podcast. And as I also had the baby here, why not do more since I cannot go out anymore? Beautiful. Can you please, Rick, tell us, since you are a wellness entrepreneur, what is wellness to you? What are the levels that you help people with this beautiful human invention that we all need in every second of our lives? And what do you do exactly with your business so that the people watching and listening to us can learn from you and contact you and collaborate with you further?
Thank you, Roxy. Yeah, so there's a number of different things. So to me, wellness is, there's a feeling that you have when you wake up in the morning. To me, it's an enthusiasm and a level of energy that keeps me from thinking about what I'm going to do right now. So I jump out of bed every day. I'll be 60 in July. So I'm 59 right now. And I have more energy now about the things that I'm doing in my life than at any point in my life. Two reasons for that. One is because of the things that I do in my own wellness program, but really more because of the activities that I'm choosing. And that keeps me so excited. I'm not thinking as much about, what am I going to do today? I always have some things to do. And if I have nothing to do, that's even more exciting, because then I can just sit back, maybe listen to one of your podcasts or read a book. And so I can take in some more knowledge, and I can be the observer. So if any of you are watching and listening thinking, well, what is wellness, Rick? It's a state of mind. It's a way of feeling. It's different for every person. Some might say wellness is physical. To me, I think it's much more emotional. I would say it starts with that mental health, which is something that we all have to pay attention to. Cognitive function. One of the challenges of my generation is cognitive degeneration. So how do I keep my brain and my thoughts and my thinking machine healthy? We already have seen many people who are a bit older than me struggle with memory loss and cognitive function loss. So that's something we have to pay attention to. Mental health and emotional health, I think, are number one. So when I think of wellness, I think of my brain, my memory, my thinking, because those are the things that we take for granted when we're healthy. We could lose that at any moment, and the physical body is just going to follow whatever this does. So although we like to think, well, I'm going to lead with my heart, we do need the brain to work, because it is one of the centers, as well as the gut, of our overall health. So I think of emotional and mental wellness. How do I keep this sharp? Doing this with you is keeping this sharp. This is an activity that really helps work the brain, is connecting with other people and talking about things like this, keeping it deep. Don't stay on the surface, go deep, build solid relationships, personal and business. Use your heart. Make sure you cycle in a lot of love each day. So the heart is a reciprocal muscle. It has to have a cycle of love going in and out of it. Think of a circle. Think of a water wheel like this in front of your body, an energetic water wheel that brings love into your heart and brings love out of your heart. So there's a water wheel. If it's going right, this water wheel of love is constantly going in and out of us. So hopefully in equal proportions, we are giving and receiving love like a water wheel. Think about that. That's a very high energy source. So if you have your mind working, same thing, stimulating it, and then but giving and receiving equal amounts of stimulation. And then your heart and all of the different chakras in the body, they're energy centers. So for me, to answer your question, wellness is emotional and physical and spiritual. So, there's some kind of a connection to a source. I like to use the example of source, self, spouse or significant other, and then what I call special people. So in order of priorities for me, connecting to source, loving self, and doing self-care, which means putting me first, and then a partner or spouse, and then special people are children, family members, community people, coworkers. So some might say, Rick, you're telling me to put my kids after me and my spouse? Yes. Source, self, spouse, special people. Watch what happens when you have enough energy and love and wellness in your life so that you can, with a person, a partner, if you have a partner, then go at source, self, spouse, go at those other things. You are able to support children, friends, other family members, coworkers, and your community in a very different way. If you are in adrenal failure or overwhelmed or tired or bored or resentful, you will not be able to support a self, a spouse, or children, or a coworker, or anything like that. So for those of you out there, and this happens to a lot of people, when they have children, they sometimes put the children first, and then their own needs are not met. They then get tired or sick, and then they're really not able to perform and deliver effectively to the people around them. So here's my formula: source, self, spouse, special people. Just a little tidbit for you to kind of have a visual. So but again, just like choosing love over fear, it's an everyday battle, challenge, and I have to make a decision for my own wellness today. This is not something you get well and then you don't have to do anything. There's no autopilot. It's every day of your life, jumping out of bed with joy, finding something you love to do that you're passionate about, and finding people like you, Roxy, to align with, to be able to share this message and give these gifts, uncover, cultivate, and then celebrate these gifts in ourselves and in others.
I am so grateful that you mentioned this, because indeed you cannot give from an empty bag.
You got it.
There's nothing that you can teach others. And as we were talking a few days ago, it was indeed such an aha moment for me when I had my baby girl, putting her first, because maybe it's the human nature, but when you see something that's small and fragile and a part of you, you want to give them everything.
Yeah.
But since the next day I felt awful and I did not feel any more love and connection, yes, it was a great reminder. Okay, I'm putting my own self-care, my own wellness first. I love the metaphor of the wheel of water that needs to constantly rotate, because energy needs to be continually moving. Wonderful, Rick. Can you please tell us, because it was beyond impressive to me, what do you do through your business at the Scarsdale Center that you are running for quite a while now?
So this is a great story. I was a Wall Street recruiter, and my sister met a dentist. So one day I went to the office to visit, and my brother-in-law, who was the dentist, was working on an advertisement. And, I looked at it and said, I think I can do a good job with that for you. Why don't you let me create this advertisement for you? It was a big success. One thing led to another. They asked me to come and work in the practice. I didn't know anything about dentists. I didn't like to go to the dentist. I knew that a lot of other people didn't. So I thought, maybe I can do something with this business to make it feel a little bit better. So as I was researching, we were expanding. We started growing more. It was successful. We had to build a new office. So I was reading the trade journals, and I saw something about a dental spa out in California. So I read about it, and it was a place where, some of the offerings and some of the services were just made to be a little bit more distracting, if you will, than the typical dental office. So one of the things was, we put in dimmable lighting. We put in rich, dark colors. We made a feng shui design. We used curved walls. We had meditative music. We had diffusers with beautiful, relaxing scents of essential oils. And so all of these things came together. Memory foam chairs, TVs on the ceilings, aromatherapy, and these hand wraps with warm mitts when you were in the chair. So one thing led to another. The next thing you knew, we were attracting phobic patients who otherwise would not be going to the dentist. And then we brought in things like Reiki and healing touch. When we found Beamer, we put in a Beamer salon so that we could use that device to help people jumpstart the healing process right in the office. So one of the amazing byproducts of this was, not only were the patients excited to be there, but the staff loved working there, and they started to embrace that mission of wellness. And so we accidentally created a new way to offer dentistry. So we are doing the same work as other people doing it that do in any other dental office, but we just do it in an environment. Again, the environment matters. The people matter. The alignment and the energy of the space matters. So it's like coming into a spa and wellness center to have your dentistry done. So we've changed the paradigm of how to offer dentistry, and I used it as a wellness laboratory to then craft my marriage coaching practice and then this connection practice and all of the networking that we do. And we hosted special events there before the pandemic. So we were bringing people closer to this self-care, the products and services and the lifestyle of self-care to be able to help improve wellness in everybody's life.
I think that for me, it would be challenging to leave that amazing wellness spa room that you created and then go to the dentist, but it's for sure an amazing experience. And I would love to get through that. I had braces, and stepping on my fears with these dental works was one of my greatest challenges for sure.
Yeah, me too.
And Rick, since you are so passionate and such a strong advocate for living a healthy life in completely all ways, soul, spirit, health with your body, and you do all these amazing things, can you please tell us, what would you say that inspires you most without going through all the filters in your mind now?
What inspires me most is meeting new people and being able to learn from them, because I'm just getting started. So a lot of the things we talked about today are kind of like the foundation, because the things that I'm going to be jumping out of bed for in 5 years from now, I haven't even figured out yet. I haven't even been told. I don't even know what the project is. I don't even know who the person is that is going to be igniting me in 5 years from now. It might be something that you connect me to. So the very exciting piece of this, Roxy, and the most inspiring piece is you and I just met a little while ago, and look at what we're creating today. We're giving out information which may give the next person permission. And that is what it's all about. That's what inspires me to jump on the next call, to do the next interview, to write the next article, to do the next podcast, to help someone else put a book out there. You know, that's a big part of my life, is helping new authors write their first book. So it's just being excited, to make these connections.
Beautiful. And you got this to be your life mission in a way, connecting and helping people find themselves and do better. Before the next question, I want to share with our audience this incredibly beautiful excerpt from the signature of your email, which I truly loved. And it goes like this: Carol and Rick Gabrielly have been helping others gain awareness, access education, and find opportunities for over 34 years. Through the power of connection, they've been able to help individuals and families around the world get healthy and enjoy a simpler life at home and at work. You give this full package to the people you meet with. You help them connect with themselves in completely all ways. And I wanted to ask you, what do you think that is a great advice that you can offer to young people, someone that's at the beginning of their journey? What would you suggest they focus on first?
This is a great question. So I happened to have a conversation yesterday with one of the students at my college, who is now a junior in Iona College, where I graduated in 1984. And I'm a part of a mentoring program there, where I have some students who are 18 to 21 years old. And she asked me this same question. So I thought about it. And even though we're having a wellness discussion, I'm going to talk about connection as the number one reason for creating this, what I'm going to call your network. but it's much more than a business network. So even though I'm going to tell you to keep track of the people you meet in a certain way, this is not a business exercise. This is a lifestyle exercise, because for so many years, I would meet people and then maybe I would have their name, email, or cell phone in my smartphone, or maybe I would have them written on a piece of paper or in a notebook. But many years go by, and then I want to reconnect with that person, or I remember, oh, I remember what business they were in, but I don't remember their name and I don't have their phone number. So the number one thing that I could share that I think will change your life is when you meet someone who touches you in some way, gives you that energy or that enthusiasm or the goosebumps, or you just feel some kind of impact from them, put their name on a list. Have one list in your life, whether it's a piece of software. I suggest a Google Sheet, again, keeping it simple, and then just put their name, the date, their email and cell phone, what they do, and then find out 2 or 3 pieces of personal information about them. Ask them about their family. Ask them what gets them excited in life. Know something personally, and remember that. Put it in the notes field. Now, build that. You can call it a database. You can call it a contact list. We all have CRMs. We all have cell phones. We all have spreadsheets and notebooks. We have lots of technology, but nothing replaces the connection that you make with someone. So if you have some sort of impact that you felt, keep that person, stay in touch with that person, ask that person about themselves, be interested in them before you're interesting, and tell them all about you. I know this happened when you and I met. We were basically going back and forth for who wanted to learn more about the other one first. You're trying to trick me into talking, Rick, and you wouldn't let me. You didn't want to talk. You wanted me to talk because you wanted to learn about me. So we were doing this with each other when we met. So that is the greatest gift. So if you're a young person watching today, or you're in the middle, or you're more mature, keep track. Just start today. You don't have to try to figure out all the people you met yesterday. Just put down one name, put down all of the good things that you have to have, and watch what happens. At the end of a year or two, you'll have an incredible network of people, and they're all going to have some impact on you. Look back on that, nurture that. That is your gold. That is your greatest resource, is the people that you meet. I was in a meeting this morning where 5 or 6 people thanked me because they texted me, and I was able to connect them with someone who helped their child. They found a therapist. Someone else found a coach. Someone else had their identity stolen, and they found someone to be able to help with the identity theft. And I can go down the list. So it doesn't matter what area it is. If you know someone that you can connect someone else with, that is the greatest gift. And it has nothing to do with money or business. They're not paying me for this connection, but they're giving me the greatest currency, which is the currency of connection.
Wow. I love it that you mentioned this, Rick, because since we all need to have the most qualitative connections, to have the most qualitative life that we can possibly create for ourselves, what can be more beautiful than this? And indeed, money is super important. And I have to say that I do love money, but the amazing feeling that I have when helping someone that's not for money, as you said, you connect people with a therapist, you connect people with someone that can help them in a very sensitive situation in their life, then that's a whole different level of fulfillment. And I have been reading this great book, Rick. It's my second on this topic about the spirit molecule, DMT. And I was wondering, what is your approach about fulfillment, joy, and happiness in life? How do you see these 3 very similar, yet kind of different concepts.
Well, again, Roxy, by having the experience of going to work to make a paycheck, going to an appointment to get a sale, to get a commission, to pay a bill, and having felt that for 25 years in a sales career, and feeling what that felt like, not only to the customer, but to the people I worked with and for, and just coming home at night and feeling like I did a job, but I didn't feel that energy that I wanted to feel. I didn't feel the passion of the things I did when I was either volunteering or working with other people to achieve something, or maybe that the monetary gain was secondary to the actual fulfillment, purpose. They say if you love what you do for a living, you'll never work another day in your life. So to kind of speak to that, my uncle, my mother's oldest brother, was a conductor on the railroad. And when he would get home, he used to get home 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He would take me into his workshop and he would build furniture all night long. So when we went in there, we would close the door and hours would pass. We missed dinner and we would be in there working, no power tools. Everything was done by hand. And he would build beautiful furniture. And he was teaching me, showing me and letting me, hammer and saw and glue things. And it was incredible. And that state of flow was the state of flow that gave him his purpose in life. He would crack a beer and he would make his furniture. And so the railroad was his job, but the furniture was his purpose. That was his fulfillment. And he would give it to people. He would give it to family members. He didn't charge anybody for it. So many of the families, many of our families, they would have this furniture in their bedrooms, in their living rooms, by their nightstands. And this is the kind of thing. And it lasted for many, many years after he was gone. So he helped people on the railroad by day and he made furniture at night. So I'll ask the audience, what is your furniture? What is your purpose in life? What do you like to do? Yes, we need money. We all love money. Let's admit it. We need to have it. We have to pay our bills. We have to save some. We have to try to build our futures. But by far, I'm much more excited about the impact that I have on another person. Because think about it. Is all of that money and all of that financial energy just supposed to be in my life? Or what if I make an impact on someone else today for free, but then they go out and do something that generates money for them? Can't I make a claim to the energetic creation of that abundance? Or is it only what Chase tells me is in my bank account that is mine? How about universal abundance? How about if I make an impact on someone watching and listening today and they say, I'm opening my own business. I'm doing it. I'm going to start making furniture like Rick's Uncle Jimmy. And they go out and make furniture and they make a lot of money and they make a lot of people happy. Can't I stake a claim to having some involvement energetically, universally, spiritually in helping that person? So that is part of my abundance. So it's not only what's measurable that matters.
Wow, this is beyond inspiring. And again, my mind is going now to process everything because I have been reading about this as well, working on my mindset about finances. And it got me thinking about this amazing device that you are using. If that's okay with you, can you please share with us a bit about this Beamer technology with it?
Sure.
Mind-blowing and not too many people know about this.
So I was at a wellness fair, an event out in California in 2016, and there were about 400 people there. And we were divided into 4 teams. So it was like a convention center. So I happened to be on the red team. So each team was instructed to wear colorful clothing and accessories with the color of their team. So I was wearing a red mohawk on my head. I don't have any hair, so I had this red mohawk wig on. Imagine this thing sticking way up. And I'm in the front seat, in the first seat, in the first row of this event. So during the breaks, we're all jumping up and down, and the red team is sitting together, and the yellow team, and the green team, and the blue team. So at one time in the break, one of these young ladies ran up to me and she said, "I just have to meet you because you look so crazy with that red mohawk on. You're someone I want to know." And her name is Heidi Simon. And she said, "I need to know who you are. Let's do we were having these breakout sessions where we were going to do like trust building exercises together in pairs. So she said, would you be my accountability partner?" Yes. So there I am with my mohawk, and there she is. And she happened to have a beamer with her at the event, and it was sitting on the desk. It's a little box. She had this wrap around her neck, and she would press the button every few minutes. And I noticed it, but I didn't know what it was. And she said, have you ever heard of Beamer? I said, no, I don't know what it is. Well, she said, it's a German product. It's a medical device. I have one with me. Let me tell you more. What do you do? I'm in the dental business. Oh, I have a dentist in California using one. Would you talk to him and his wife? Yes. One thing led to another. She sent me emails. I went home, not only buzzing from the event and the meeting, the connection to Heidi, but also this gift of this potential new product, which was an in-home wellness product. So I said, I need to know more about this. So anyway, we found out more about it. It's an electromagnetic therapy. Beamer stands for bio electromagnetic energy regulation. And it's a naturally occurring system in the body. But as we age, our regulation, which is the thing that body healing itself, it slows with age, with environment, and with systemic stress. And the Beamer helps improve circulation and restore the body's own ability for regulation. So it's like a healing tool. It's another tool in the wellness arsenal. So by no means is it the only thing that we use to stay healthy, but it's one of the tools. So, for anybody who wants to learn more about it, you can reach out to me. I'm happy to tell you about. We're in 43 countries. It's a 25-year-old German company, and founded by a gentleman by the name of Peter Gleiman, and just a terrific organization. There's only one product like Beamer in the world. It's we've got 6 global patents. NASA is using it and doing research with Beamer on it. So there's a lot of different things. We have blind third-party studies, double-blind studies on the internet at pubmed.gov all about it. So something that you don't have to believe me. You could just do your own research. But it was life-changing. So I think I know where you were going by asking me that. So since I've been using this thing 5.5 years, I have noticed a tremendous difference, not only in my personal energy, but in my emotional energy and my ability to handle stress and to take on more and to recover. So, it's something used by thousands of Olympic and professional athletes to recover. So, it basically helps improve circulation. So getting more oxygen and removing toxins in the body is one of the essential things we need to do as human beings. And Beamer is a support tool to do that.
And for the people listening to us, because the ones seeing us can see that Rick does not look his age at all. He did mention his age earlier, but let me tell you, he looks 10 years younger at least. I had this amazement when you first told me your age, and your energy is completely different from this biological age that you have. And I wanted to ask you, there are many questions, but I'm going to stick to one more because I know you have an agenda, but your way of teaching us and telling us about all this amazing wellness industry and all the amazing things that you do with energy is really inspiring me to add an extra question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
What would you say, if any, about the difference between aging and getting older?
Yeah, so this is something I talk about all the time, and I think about it myself because I have friends around me, and maybe I won't see someone for a few years, and then when I see them again, I notice, are they aging gracefully? Are they getting older, as you said? So, and what does that look like, and what does it feel like? So I think, again, going back to the mental state is kind of like this connection between all of the different phases of us as a human being. So we have our physical, we have our emotional, we have our spiritual. So it's quite possible that in any one of those areas, one person may be accelerating more quickly. And then therefore, what that does is impact one of the other areas of their life. So let's say someone ages physically. Joint health is a big part of this. If someone has, let's start at the bottom, ankles, knees, hips. Those are the most important joints in your body, followed by elbows, wrists, and shoulders, and your neck. So, but you have to keep your legs healthy. So if any of you are listening and you're into working out, you want to have big biceps, you want to have a healthy looking chest, don't ignore your legs. The foundation of your body is your ankles, knees, and hips. If you blow out a knee, ask anybody who has had a bad knee or a knee replacement, and you can't move around as freely. So there's that physical part. If something happens physically, now your mental and spiritual aging accelerates because you can't feel the way you want to feel. You can't move the way. So you start to wonder, oh, I'm just getting older. It's those little aches and pains and those little creaks. And we start to use languaging. So now we start to convince ourselves of this process. Well, it's occurring. It's inevitable. I'm going to be 60. So I have to feel and behave a certain way. And I disagree. I think that, but remember, these systems are working together. So I think that knowing that you're going to accelerate in one of those areas and then either embracing that or trying to do things to slow it down. I'll tell you a story about me. When I was a little kid, maybe 4 or 5 years old, I went into the bathroom one day while my father was shaving. And he had a cigarette in his mouth and he had his razor out and he was in his t-shirt and he was shaving. And I looked up and I said, Daddy, I want to shave. I want to smoke. So he was like, oh yeah, you want to shave and smoke? All right. So, he got me a little plastic razor. And, then I would shave next to him every morning with my little plastic razor. He did bring me in the kitchen one day and give me a cigarette, and I smoked it and choked and never wanted to smoke again, I did later a bit. But I always wanted to be older than I was. I wanted to have the car. I wanted to have a house. I wanted to have a family. So when I was 10 and everybody said, oh, Ricky, you're 10, you're getting so old. I said, I'm only 10, but I can't wait to be 20. Why? Because when I'm 20, I'll be free to do what I want to do. And then I'll be able to do my own thing. Oh, you don't want to rush it. So I turned 20. Everyone's like, oh, you're 20 now. You're old now. You're getting to be an old man. I said, I can't wait to be 30. Why? Well, because when I'm 30, I'll have a little more money and I'll be a little more, figured. Okay, I turned 30. Oh, you're 30 now. You're almost over the hill. Wow. I said, I can't wait to be 40. Why? Because when I'm 40, I'll be more relaxed. I won't be so running so hard and, being so worried about everything. Oh, I turned 40. Oh, you're an old man now. I can't wait to be 50. Why can't you wait to be 50? 50 is an old man. No, I can't wait to be 50 because I'll have wisdom. And when I turn 50, I can't wait to be 50. Oh, come on, you don't want to be 50. I turned 50. I said, I can't wait to be 60. Why do you want to be 60? Because my father died at 53. If I make it to 60, that would mean I made it further than him and that I was doing something right. And I wanted to outlive that trauma. So now I'm 59. I'm about to be 60 in July. How exciting. And how exciting it will be at that party when people say to me, hey, congratulations, you're 60. You're an old man now. And I'll say, I can't wait to be 70. So I'm always looking forward to the future, not the aging process, not the number necessarily, but the things that are going to come with that are so much better than today.
What you're doing with this amazing technique is changing the fear of the unknown that comes with age that comes with not knowing what things are going to look like tomorrow even, to excitement. I don't know how it's going to be exactly, but I'll make it terrific. And I admire you for choosing the perspective that best fits your needs so that you can lead a healthy life. And yeah, I look forward to listening to you. Okay, I'll be 200 in 10 years time. Why? I'm also very keen with living a healthy life, and I do plan on living more than 150. So it'll be amazing to us meeting in a few decades, and yeah, being excited for another great opportunity. Rick, this has been more than a delight, and I cannot express in words my gratitude and how amazing you have made me feel by you sharing your stories so authentically. And I am beyond happy and grateful to have had you today. Can you please share with our listeners and our viewers, how can they get in contact with you to know more about you, to work with you, and to collaborate with you ASAP? Because I know that people are very curious about you and your journey.
Sure. Thank you, Roxy. I feel the same way. This was just so much fun. Being with you is such a joy because your light is so bright. So I'm the lucky one to have had this time with you. Anyone can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Just go to LinkedIn, look up Rick Gabrielly. It's linkedin.com/Rick Gabrielly, or you can go to my website, rickgabrielly.com.
Wonderful. And before we go, I want to tell our audience about your outstanding podcast with Frank and Peter, the Road Ahead Cafe, where you educate your audience about meditation and about the spiritual wellness and about personal development. And I loved that particular episode about flow. And I want to congratulate you for constantly giving and pouring more and more wisdom and energy and love to everyone around you. Rick, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been an amazing pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roxy.